Hello and welcome to Rajya TV. You're watching Breakfast News with me, Rajat. Let's have a look at the top headlines. Centre declares Kerala floods a calamity of severe nature. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan convenes all-party meet as state braces for a gigantic task of reconstruction and rehabilitation. Southern Naval Command begins scaling down Operation Madad. Lokpal Selection Committee is slated to meet today. Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge not to attend meet as special invitee for the fourth time. Afghan forces launched rescue operation in North Kunduz. Rescue 149 people, including women and children, abducted by Taliban on Monday. Vinesh Fogart scripts history, becomes first Indian woman to bag a gold at wrestling at Asian Games. India claims 2 silver medal in shooting on day 2 of the Games in Indonesia on Monday. Medal tally up to 5, India at 8th position. And England need 498 more runs to win the third test against India at Trent Bridge. Virat Kohli's exemplary 103 puts India in commanding position. England are 2-0 up in a 5-match test series. The flood waters in Kerala are receding and the state is faced with a gigantic task of reconstruction and rehabilitation. The centre has declared the floods in the state a calamity of severe nature. The state government is estimating a total loss of nearly 20,000 crore rupees. At least 216 people have lost their lives in the rains, floods and landslides since August 8. Over 10 lakh people are living in nearly 6,000 relief camps that are in operation. The Southern Naval Command of Indian Navy has begun scaling down Operation Madad.
Healthcare seems to be the biggest challenge looming on the horizon as the floodwaters recede in Kerala. Preventing an outbreak of epidemic is the need of the hour in the flood-hit state.
ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ താലൂക്ക് ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ പകർച്ചവ്യാധികൾ ഉണ്ടാകുമ്പോൾ ഐസൊലേഷൻ വാർഡുകൾ ക്രമീകരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് താലൂക്ക് ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ തലത്തിൽ നിന്ന് തുടങ്ങി ഐസൊലേഷൻ വാർഡുകൾ സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനാണ് തീരുമാനിച്ചത്. അപ്പോൾ അപൂർവം ചിലയിടത്ത് അങ്ങനെ വളരെ വ്യാപകമായിട്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ല, പക്ഷേ അപൂർവം ചിലയിടത്ത് അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ചില കേസുകൾ റിപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തത് ഉടനെ തന്നെ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലുകളിലേക്ക് മാറ്റിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അവിടെ അതിനാവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള ചുമതലയും ആരോഗ്യവകുപ്പിന്റെ പ്രവർത്തകർക്ക് നിർദ്ദേശിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Restoration of water and power supply has to happen at a war footing. Roads and bridges need to be rebuilt. Telephone lines need to become functional again.
ഇവിടെ BSNL ലാൻഡ് ഫോൺ കണക്ഷൻ 2 ദിവസമായിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ യുദ്ധകാലാടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഇവിടെ ശരിയായിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ ഇൻ്റർനെറ്റ് കണക്ഷൻ BSNL ബ്രോഡ്ബാൻഡ് കണക്ഷൻ കട്ടായത് 7 days ആർക്ക് ഇന്നലെ വൈകിട്ട് എല്ലാം ത്രൂ അയച്ച് ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ ലാൻഡ് ഫോൺ കുറച്ച് നമ്പർ മാത്രം ഞങ്ങൾ യുദ്ധകാലാടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ 10-30 സ്റ്റാഫുണ്ട്. എല്ലാവരും യുദ്ധകാലാടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഞങ്ങളത് ശരിയായിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഉടൻ തന്നെ ശരിയാകും.
The centre has also declared the Kerala floods a calamity of severe nature. When a calamity is declared to be of rare severity or severe nature, support to the state government is provided at the national level. The centre also considers additional assistance from the National Disaster Response Fund. A calamity relief fund is set up with the corpus shared 3:1 between the centre and the state. When resources in the CRF are inadequate, additional assistance is considered from the National Calamity Contingency Fund, funded 100% by the centre. Relief in repayment of loans or for grant of fresh loans to the persons affected on concessional terms too are considered once a calamity is declared severe.
We are providing food and medical supplies to more than 5,000 people who are housed in several camps here in this area. And also sanitation after the flood is over. We have to help disinfect the areas affected by flood so that there is no outbreak of any disease and other endemic problems.
With the waters receding, the focus is now on rehabilitation.
पूरा पानी है, भरा हुआ हम लोग का घर पूरा पानी है, हम लोग का बैठने को भी जगह नहीं है, इतना तक पानी है। हम लोग को कुछ खाने को मांगता है, पीने को मांगता है, பெட் नहीं है, सब पूरा सब पानी में भर गया.
நான் 3 வருஷமா நான் இந்த இடத்துல தான் நான் வாழ்ந்துகிட்டு இருக்கேன். நான் 10-12,000 ரூபாய்க்கு தையல் தொழிலாளி. நான் ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு வாழ்றவன். எப்போ பிள்ளையால் 2 காலும் முடியாதது. இருந்த வீடு அட்ரஸ் இல்லாமல் போயிடுச்சு. எங்களால் ஒன்றும் செய்ய முடியாது. முடிஞ்சின துணி கூட ஆளுக்கு கொடுத்து நாங்கள் போட்டுருக்கோம். எப்போ பிள்ளையால் அனாதை விடத்தில் விட்டுருக்கோம். ஒரு வாழருக்கு ஒரு வழியும் இல்லை. ஒன்றுமே எங்களால் செய்ய முடியாத சூழ்நிலை. என்னதான் செய்யணும், எதான் செய்யணும் சொல்லவே முடியாத ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில் இருக்கும்.
The National Crisis Management Committee, the country's apex body to handle emergencies, has been regularly monitoring the flood situation in Kerala. The NCMC has directed that focus should now be on the provision of emergency supplies of food, water, medicines and restoration of essential services. The Army, Navy, Indian Air Force and the National Disaster Response Force have been continuously engaged in relief and rescue operations in all 14 flood-hit districts in Kerala. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has convened an all-party meet over the Kerala floods today. The meeting is to review the rescue and relief operations undertaken with the support from the central government, armed forces and ordinary people of the state. During meeting, the healthcare, rehabilitation and reconstruction challenges that are being faced by the state will also be discussed. During his daily press conference on Monday, he spoke about the rehabilitation effort being mounted. Listen to what he had to say.
വെള്ളം ഇറങ്ങിയിട്ടും ക്യാമ്പുകളിൽ തന്നെ തുടരേണ്ട സ്ഥിതി ചില കുടുംബങ്ങൾക്ക് വരുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ പുനരധിവാസ പ്രവർത്തനം തീവ്രമായി നടത്തേണ്ടതിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യകതയാണ് ഇത് കാണിക്കുന്നത്. വെള്ളം ഇറങ്ങിയതുകൊണ്ട് മാത്രം വീടുകൾ വാസയോഗ്യമാവില്ല. അപ്പോൾ വാസയോഗ്യമാക്കുന്ന പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ ദ്രുതഗതിയിൽ നടത്താനാണ് നിശ്ചയിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ അതുവരെ ഈ ദുരിതാശ്വാസ ക്യാമ്പുകൾ തുടരേണ്ടതായിട്ട് വരും. വൈദ്യുതി ബന്ധം എല്ലായിടെയും തകരാറായിട്ടുണ്ടാകും. ഉപകരണങ്ങൾ ഉള്ളത് കേടായിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. ഇനിയുള്ള ഉപകരണം പ്രവർത്തിപ്പിക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്ത അവസ്ഥയിൽ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടാകും. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ നല്ല ജാഗ്രത പൊതുവെ കാണിക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Well, to know more on the ground situation in the state, we're joined by senior correspondent Akhilesh Suman. Akhilesh, thanks for joining us. Akhilesh, could you just tell us where you are right now and what is the ground situation?
You know that I have traveled from Thiruvananthapuram now, and we are going to the most devastated area. And you know that behind me you can see the placard that is called Kotarkara, and though we will go in this direction. So in that way you can understand that this part of the Kerala is most of the time, for all practical purposes, it is intact. There is no impact of flood here. But once I will move from here around 1.5 hours, I think that the most devastated places are there. But what I am hearing that relief and rescue measures are operating, and most of the time everyone is praising the fishermen of this area, the state, who are well trained in how to traverse in such situations. And I am also hearing that fishermen are going to be felicitated at many places because they have rescued more than 20,000 people from very difficult areas. You know that it was very difficult for any force, either Air Force or NDRF, to go in such areas which they were not aware of. But fishermen has done that job, and people are very much obliged towards fishermen of this state, Rajat.
Right, that's fantastic to hear. As much a story of the brave hearts of the armed forces, there are local people, the ordinary people, the citizens who have come forward in this huge calamity in the state. Akhilesh, talking of the rehabilitation and rebuilding of the state, now that happens to be the major stress now. What are authorities saying, especially vis-a-vis the situation regarding the spreading of disease as it usually happens after any calamity of such a nature?
Yeah, that is what I am hearing, Rajat, that the government is telling, and all those who are involved with the rehabilitation and rescue operation, they are telling that there is no dearth of food in this area. But what we need now is the cleaning machines, the detergents, that all disinfectants and, anti-mosquito coils. These are the essential items that they need now. And what I am hearing that, that in this area, I'm going to tell you that in Chenganur, they have sent a central team, and this team will clean around 500 houses per day, so that they can disinfect, and they are also giving training to the local youth that how to combat such type of infection if it outbreaks. So, that there is a major problem that comes after flood everywhere, and then Kerala, I think, is well trained. That most of the people in Kerala know how to combat with health situations, and nurses of Kerala are well known all over the world. So I think that is not going to be a major problem. Major issue will be continuous supply of all these materials, and the way I think a state government is interacting with the center. What I have got to know that Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan, the Chief Minister of the state, he has been constantly in touch with Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and also the Prime Minister. So communication is already there between a state and center, and whatever center has given, though there is a sense of that this is not enough, 500 crores. But I think center is assuring that whatever will be needed, it will be given in due course of the time. So money is not going to be the problem, and central and state machinery is working in tandem, so that rehabilitation work takes place, because many of the people have lost their belongings. Many houses have been dilapidated in the whole flood, and roads have to be made in many areas. So these are the issues, infrastructure issues, health issues, and also the whole logistics. These are going to be major challenges. But I think the way Kerala has been working for last many years, and the way Kerala has developed, what I can see now in Kerala, that Kerala will combat is no sooner, than later.
Right, Akhilesh, please be safe and keep sending us your reports from Kerala. Wishing you all the best. Thank you. Now, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan have jointly appealed to members of Parliament on Monday to contribute generously from their MP Local Area Development Scheme funds for relief and rehabilitation work in Kerala. Both Chairman and Speaker have decided to donate 1 month's salary towards Prime Minister National Relief Fund and urge the members to do the same.
Taking note of the large-scale devastation triggered by floods in Kerala, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan jointly appealed to members of Parliament to contribute generously from their MP Lads Fund towards relief and rehabilitation works in the state.
Keeping in view the intensity and magnitude of the floods in Kerala, the government has declared this as a calamity of a severe nature. We appeal to the members of the Parliament to contribute generously from their MP Lads funds for relief and rehabilitation works in the affected areas of Kerala as permissible under the MP Lads guidelines, and also to consider donating their 1 month's salary for this noble and humanitarian cause. Speaker and then Chairman.
Rules allow members of Parliament to recommend up to maximum of 1 crore rupees as assistance from the MP Lads Fund in the case of calamity of severe nature in any part of the country. They further say from the day an MP makes such a contribution, the relevant authorities have to identify relief works in a month's time and implement them within 8 months.
And then the Speaker will be writing a letter to all the members of Parliament of Lok Sabha. Chairman will be writing a letter to all the members of Rajya Sabha.
At Chairman Naidu's behest, the Rajya Sabha Secretariat on 16th August wrote to the Ministry of Home Affairs about the government's assessment of the scale of calamity in Kerala. Earlier, the chairman also discussed with the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha Harivansh, who's also the chairman of the MP Lads Committee, and senior officials on the MP Lads guidelines. He also spoke to former Deputy Chairman Professor P.J. Kurin about the severity of the damage. Chairman Naidu has decided to donate 1 month's salary towards relief work in flood-hit Kerala. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Union Minister K.G. Alphonse has said that Centre's assistance to Kerala so far is for immediate purpose and that more help will be given on a need basis. In an exclusive interview to Rajya Sabha TV, he said the task of reconstruction is massive and the Centre will assist Kerala as it goes about the task.
Are you expecting that the number of dead is going to rise as the waters recede? There might be more deaths which would be discovered?
Yes, I mean, that's what we fear.
Okay.
And I hope my fears are not really founded on actual facts when actually it unravels. We hope nobody is dead, but the fact is that yesterday itself we discovered quite a few bodies in less than 10 in Changanur area. And we suspect a lot of people are still trapped. Kerala needs to be completely reconstructed. Yes, see what the Prime Minister and the Home Minister have released 500 crores by the Honorable Prime Minister and 100 crores by the Honorable Home Minister. And before that 180 crores was released.
Right.
All this is for immediate relief. In fact, Centre has provided an advance amount to the state government.
Okay.
And as and when they see that it's going to get exhausted, they ask for advance and we provide. There is absolutely no problem with money.
So there is no need for declaring the present disaster as a natural calamity?
That's not an issue at all.
You can watch the entire interview on Rajya Sabha TV on Wednesday, 10 p.m. on our program To The Point. Now, moving on, rescue and relief operations in rain-ravaged Karnataka's Kodagu were intensified on Monday. The situation in the districts under control. The Indian Air Force that had deployed one Mi-17 helicopter earlier has pressed into service another Mi-17 today in rescue operation in Kodagu district. Over 4,320 people have been rescued and brought to relief centres. The Defence Food Research Laboratory and Central Food Technological Research Institute are dispatching ready-to-eat and ready-to-cook food items to flood-ravaged regions of Kerala and Kodagu in Karnataka. Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy said action has been initiated to distribute an interim relief of Rs 3,800 per family of distressed people sheltered in relief camps. The Kodagu District Deputy Commissioner has issued an order to resort owners to cancel all the bookings of tourists in Kodagu as the situation remains precarious. The floods have caused huge trail of destruction which has claimed at least 12 lives and rendered hundreds homeless. Take me. Now, the Lokpal Selection Committee will be meeting today. The leader of Congress in Lok Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, will however be boycotting the meeting for the fourth time. Alleging that the process of Lokpal appointment was vitiated, Kharge in a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he would not be able to attend any meeting of Selection Committee until he, as the leader of the single largest opposition party, is conferred the status of full-fledged member. Kharge has alleged that government was refusing to bring an amendment in the Lokpal Act, making the leader of single largest party in Lok Sabha as member of the panel, even after parliamentary panel made the recommendation. Now, China's defense minister will begin a 4-day visit to India from today. This will be the first visit by Defence Minister Lieutenant General Wei Fenghe after a 73-day Doklam standoff between the two countries. While General Wei will hold bilateral talks with Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to further solidify military ties, no agreements are expected to be signed. This will be the second meeting between them this year after Nirmala Sitharaman met Wei Fenghe during her visit to Defence Ministers meeting at Shanghai Cooperation Organization in April. The 11th World Hindi Conference concluded in Mauritius on Monday with the determination of establishing Hindi as a global language as well as establishing Hindi as an official language of the United Nations. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj also gave overseas citizens of India cards to Indians living in Mauritius.
The 11th World Hindi Conference in Mauritius concluded on Monday with the resolve to get recognition for Hindi as a leading language of the world and establishing it as an official language of the United Nations. Acting President of Mauritius, Paramashivam Pillai Vyapuri, was the chief guest at the closing ceremony. Addressing the audience, he said, as a language, Hindi is getting stronger.
So, it stands to reason to claim that Hindi should be introduced as an official language at the United Nations. This conference has shown that the desire and the will to make this happen is very real and strong. Therefore, far from Hindi disappearing like the dodo, it will not only survive, but it will find its rightful place as the 7th official language at the United Nations.
Anirudh Jagannath, former Prime Minister of Mauritius, called Hindi the soul of Indian culture, stating that Hindi has played an important role in the social, economic and political development of Mauritius. He said the World Hindi Conference had deepened the relations between India and Mauritius.
अन्य भाषाओं की तरह अब समय आ गया है कि हिंदी को भी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंच पर अपना बराबर स्थान मिले. इसके लिए मॉरिशस प्रतिबद्ध है.
External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj gave overseas citizens of India cards to Indians living in Mauritius. She said Mauritius is the first country among the list of Girmitia countries being provided this facility.
चलिए मॉरिशस से नई शुरुआत करते हैं और पीढ़ियों का मामला ही हटा देते हैं और जो भी पीढ़ी है 5वीं 6वीं 7वीं अगर उनके पुरखे भारत के थे तो अगर वो परदादा थे या उसके बड़े और परदादा थे वो चौथी पीढ़ी 5वीं पीढ़ी 6ठी पीढ़ी हो लेकिन उनको OCI कार्ड देना चाहिए. तो सभी गिरमिटिया देशों में मॉरिशस पहला है जिसको ये सुविधा प्रदान की जा रही है.
The 3-day event witnessed brainstorming sessions by 2,000 Hindi scholars who expressed satisfaction over the worldwide journey of the language. With input from Arvind Kumar Singh in Mauritius, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now moving on to some international news. Afghan forces have rescued 149 people, including children, who were abducted by Taliban in the northern Kunduz province of Afghanistan. Forces launched military operation on Monday morning and the fighting was still underway to free the 21 remaining hostages. At least 7 Taliban militants are killed in the fighting so far. Residents of Afghanistan's Ghazni fled the city on August 15 after days of fighting between Afghan troops and the Taliban. Taliban had launched a major assault on the eastern city of Ghazni earlier this month in which at least 100 Afghan security forces and 35 civilians were killed. Moving on to sports news, and let's have a look at the Asian Games. Now, first up, India got its second gold medal at the 18th Asian Games in Indonesia. Vinesh Phogat defeated Japan's Yuki Airi in the final of freestyle 50 kg category in the women's wrestling on Monday. With this victory, Vinesh created history as she is the first Indian women wrestler to win gold in Asian Games. Bajrang Punia had given India its first gold of the Games yesterday in men's freestyle 65 kg category. India also claimed 2 silver medals in the shooting. In the men's trap, Lakshay bagged silver medal with an impressive 43 from 50 shots. Shooter Deepak Kumar claimed the silver in the men's 10-meter air rifle event with a score of 247.7 points. This was India's third medal in the shooting. With this, India's medal tally now goes up to 5, 2 gold, 2 silver and 1 bronze. India is presently at the 8th position. After bagging 3 medals on day 2 at Asian Games, India is placed on the 8th position in the standing with 5 medals in total. While China is at the top spot with 36 medals, including 15 gold and 12 silvers and 9 bronze. Japan is second with 30 medals in total, including 8 golds, 11 silver and 11 bronze. South Korea is placed third with 24 medals, including 5 gold, 9 silver and 10 bronze. While host Indonesia is at 4th spot with 8 medals in total, including 4 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze. And the news now from cricket. Chasing a target of 521 runs to win the third test, England will resume its second innings from an overnight score of 23 runs with all 10 wickets in hand on the fourth day of the third test match at Trent Bridge in Nottingham. They're now chasing 498 runs away from win. Day 3 was dominated by India after skipper Virat Kohli scored a smashing 103, declaring the second inning at 352 for 7, leaving England a mammoth 521 runs to win. India now need to secure all 10 wickets to register its first victory in the 5-match series. England is leading series 2-0 and need 498 runs to win in the remaining 2 days. That's it for now. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV for more. Thank you.